Hi, Ray McGhee.
Hey, how are you doing, Christy?
Good. How are you and your lovely wife, Christy, doing?
We're doing well. We've had a wonderful summer, and yeah, we're just enjoying the space of time and um, enjoying the weather, enjoying summer fruits, doing a little travel. We're just experiencing a lot of good things now. So I'm really
Yeah, and I hear you're coming our way to taste some wine in a few weeks.
yes, that's right. Hopefully, mid-September, we'll come to Alsace, and Ben has so graciously offered to hang out with us, and we're gonna have fun together. It should be a good time. Three other friends will be joining to experience the beauty of the region where you guys are, and really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know Ben is too.
And of
Yeah,
course, you're on your way to the U.S. as well during September. Is that right?
we'll be crossing the ocean in opposite directions, I think, right around the same time.
All right,
Yeah.
good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to the States to co-facilitate our first US in-person cohort. So
Oh.
you've experienced it from the Spain side because we've only ever done our in-person course in Spain. So I'd love
Mhm.
to hear how that was for you and maybe what's been different since you've gone through the course.
Sure. Well, I have to say that experience of taking the course in Spain at that time was hugely impactful in my life. Um,
Hmm.
as you may recall, I was thinking about my next stage after work in retirement, and I really wanted to explore how coaching could be a part of that. And I really discovered that uh, that's an option for me to really pursue because I felt like I had something to offer, and I also had much to learn as well too. The beautiful thing about coaching is that there's this kind of reciprocity that goes on in the relationship of coaching. It's not, you know, it's not a one-way kind of relationship. And I realized that I've always valued people. I've always valued, uh, their welfare and their thriving. And coaching really put me in touch with a way to do that in a really powerful and organic way, um, as well as help me to grow and improve myself. So it wasn't so much me just giving, but I was also getting in the process. And so there was something beautiful about that. And um, the course really opened that up to me as we explored the different competencies, as we practiced coaching each other during that time. I think it was really magical. The place where we were in Spain, that was a that was an amazing place, which allowed for lots of reflection and openness to learning. And that I think that atmosphere, the setting, the space that you and the faculty created there for transparency, openness, um, being non-judgmental. Um, there was a space of radical inclusion and belonging, and I think in that context, so many good things can happen. And for me, I learned a lot. I developed a real passion for wanting to do this and pursue coaching. And I think it also began to filter into my own personal life in terms of my own um, dealing with the stuff that I deal with, my own emotions and how I relate to others. So I really saw multiple benefits from it and really have appreciated it and continuing to pursue the learning and the growth. Having just gotten my ACC credential and wanting to continue to get more hours and more experiences coaching. So yeah, it's been a wonderful ride these last 2 years since taking that course, and um, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to talk about the course.
Well, it's such an honor to hear you say that because I think of you as such a strong leader, and I've seen you in leadership positions so often, whether it's, in your job and in your company, um, and also in your church and in your family. You're just kind of a natural leader, and I don't know if you feel like it's a natural leader, but it's certainly something that you've done for quite a long time and mentoring. And so the fact that you were willing to come in with a real beginner's mind and learning and what is this new posture I'm taking in coaching, to have that reciprocity and being willing to learn from everyone you're speaking with, that must have been quite something.
Oh, yes, it was. It was. And in fact, even throughout my career, work in my company, even in church, I've always felt that there needs to be reciprocity in the relationship. There's no way you can sort of give and not receive something. And I've always valued collaboration and um, group efforts. I really feel like the partnership that can be created between multiple people, leveraging all their resources and their skills and experiences, can really make a difference. And no one can kind of do what they do on their own. We really are knitted together, and so I see coaching as just another way of leveraging, uh, intellectual resources, spiritual resources, even to support each other. We're all connected in some way, and coaching really um, elevates and I think accentuates the need for those connections and the pathways for communication and learning and growth. I'm just so amazed how in coaching I'm seeing, not only for myself but for the folks I coach, um, the different avenues that open up for them as we engage in the practice of listening and sharing with one another. And so it just it speaks to those connections that are there. We just have to recognize them and begin to uh, leverage them.
Mm, yeah. Um, Without divulging any client stories, of course, I'd love to hear what you've most enjoyed receiving from your coaching conversations.
Hmm. Well, I've really enjoyed people being um, really honest with their emotions, um, and allowing themselves to even sit in their emotions and kind of go through the process of allowing their emotions to, well, allowing them to sort of acknowledge and interrogate, investigate their own emotions. Um, I remember earlier one of the clients I worked with was dealing with some fear at work of being seen as not being competent. And we went through this process where we, really sort of using that RAIN method. I remember what was where you recognize, um, you acknowledge, you investigate, and then you nurture yourself. And we kind of went through that process together, and it was it was really helpful for him, and it was helpful for me because that's what I have to do as well too, because I deal with my own fears. I struggle with some of my emotions, and as I mentioned before, I'm sometimes afraid to even acknowledge my emotions. I see this in my marriage and in other contexts. So I'm really trying to lean in more to describe how I'm feeling, acknowledge that, and really investigate that, but also to nurture myself and not feel, any shame or anything for those, because feelings are real. Um, and it's just a wonderful process of being able to reflect and move past those difficult emotions and move into a space where I can actually make some change and see what's in front of me. So helping this particular client do that was it was just kind of revelatory to me. It was the first time I had tried it, and it's something that I'm trying to incorporate into my life now as I deal with a lot of uncertainty and fear that comes when you get older, you get sick. Anyway, that's that's life, and I think there's these are nice tools. The things I'm learning in coaching are tools that are helping me to embrace um, life and to navigate life in a positive direction.
Mm. I mean, you're just sucking the marrow out of life, even the wine tasting, and I'm sure just the way you live every day. I'd love to hear if you want to go there, what it's
Sure.
been like with you mentioned getting sick and really wanting to live fully. What's changed for you over the past couple years and the way you see that?
Yeah. Um, well, it's true that when you get sick and you begin to realize that um, you might not um, have the long life that you anticipated, you recognize that there are certain priorities that you want to make. You want to invest in family. You want to invest in your friends, um, and you want to also be pursuing what you're passionate about. You don't want to be wasting time. And I think moving into retirement, as well as dealing with being sick, um, it really clarifies things for you. And I think for me, it's clarified for me that relationships are the most important thing that I have, important assets that I have, and investing in those relationships is paramount. Those are the things that are going to last. Um, and the experiences that I have with people, my family, uh, the the kindness and care that I can share in support of others to grow and improve in their lives, it's just totally consistent with coaching. And I feel like um, this is a really valuable way for me to invest in folks in a meaningful way, in line with my own values, and to my own benefit as well too. And I think that there's great satisfaction in being able to do that. And yes, the fear of death is there, and that's something that one we all have to confront and deal with. Um, I feel like I have spiritual resources that have helped me to have peace and to address fear um, and recognize that I have a lot to be thankful for, and there's a lot that I still can experience even in the midst of what I'm dealing with. So yeah, I'm encouraged by that. And it's interesting. I have other friends who are dealing with um, similar types of diseases like cancer, who are walking the same path as well too. And that's been encouraging to see them and to be in common cause with them to live our lives to the fullest and not allow a diagnosis to ruin our day.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm feeling kind of choked up just hearing you talk because it's been such a delight to see you living your life and see how you and your wife have grown so close and how much your kids love and appreciate you and recognize the kindness and care that you are giving. And and also it seems like it's almost like all your senses are really alive. Like you really want to be in the moment that you're in. And um, even with your eyesight not being what it used
Mhm.
to be, you're tasting wine and you're tasting food and um you're out there and like enjoying the vistas of different countries and really taking it in. And you're talking about fear and some of these other emotions which are so human and normal.
Mhm.
And I'd love to hear like I don't want to put you in kind of a you're so inspiring camp.
Sure,
Because you're a person
sure.
I'm sure you feel.
Yeah, I'm a
Um,
flawed human being for sure.
but I'd love to hear more of those spiritual resources that help you to navigate this with what I see as so much joy in life.
Yeah, well, as someone who reads uh, the the New Testament and the Old Testament, you know, I I've been a person of faith for quite a while, and those resources from um, the Bible reading that I do, meditation, the prayer, those are really fundamental for me. I I spend at least 30 minutes to an hour each morning um, reading, listening to scripture, um, meditating and praying. And so I think that is sort of the baseline for me. I that practice uh, is what really sustains me and gives me perspective. Um, in many ways, I see it as um, me being coached by
Mm.
a higher power. I am in that higher power's presence, and um, I see new vistas and avenues uh, uh, for living my life. I'm reminded of my worth, um, and I can see what resources are available to me spiritually to be able to have joy. I mean, I think joy is really kind of uh, the taproot that I like to draw from. I have a coffee cup um, that has joy in it. I drink from it most days, and this is a reminder.
Mm.
Um, the joy of the Lord is my strength, and I want to delight in that relationship and what it's brought me over the years. And that's, I mean, it sounds kind of simple, but it's that connection and those resources that flow spiritually into my life that give me perspective, give me strength, give me confidence, give me peace. Um, yeah, yeah, that to me is super important. Now, there's also community as well too, and I love community, and I'm a part of a community of faith with others. I have good friends that we share with together, and so I'm not doing this all on my own. I have a lot of support from my wife, family members, as well as friends and my faith community as well. So yeah, I don't want to paint it as I'm doing it all by myself. Not, but I do value community and the spiritual resources that can be tapped in there as well.
Absolutely. And I just see you living your life really in service too. I mean, I see how you are with younger men and how much it just feels like you have so much life that you want to give and wisdom that you want to be able to pass on, but not in a condescending way because of your experience, but really that reciprocity you were talking about earlier. Um, has your coaching gone in any particular direction as far as like, are you serving younger folks or executives or what have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been really a hodgepodge. There's been some younger men that I've worked with, um, but there's been a number of mid-career women
Hmm.
who I have worked with as well too, who have um, pivoted and wanted to get into the workforce. Some of whom just finished a graduate degree after raising kids, um, and that's really been great to work with them because I think um, they face some unique challenges um, because of their not having established a long track record in terms of a career, um, and and plain old ageism um, for folks, for women who are, you know, in their 50s. And so being able to help them see their value, um, give them some tools to support them in terms of their confidence, um, helping them to develop kind of mission statements that articulate clearly who they are and their value, and seeing them, um, you know, bloom with confidence and move forward has been really, really encouraging. So, um,
It's 11 o'clock.
I've done some team coaching as well too, which has been really interesting. Working with some research groups out at the NIH, helping them to consider a strategic goal that they want to achieve and how they might work together as a team to accomplish that. That's been an interesting journey. I'd love to actually take a course in that, as I think you know, because I think there's a lot of complexity to 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 address in the context of a team. But in many ways, the way in which you coach a team is somewhat similar to coaching an individual as well. And so understanding those competencies, understanding the boundaries and group dynamics and the ways, the tools that one can use to help teams experiment and um, move forward is something I'm really excited to do. I'm also doing a little consulting. I'm not considering this coaching. In my past life working at a foundation, I'm working with a foundation in Minnesota to help them as they develop a model for diversity, equity, inclusion for their members. And so I'm working with a group of folks who are putting this model together, and I'm consulting. I'm doing a little coaching in the context because they're actually doing the work, but I'm providing some guidance in terms of the structure. Um, and so it's not it's not officially coaching, but it's a way to engage and use some of my coaching skills as well to support this effort. So I'm doing a little bit of everything, which is kind of fun. I'm some individual clients, this consulting opportunity, and we'll see. I just finished coaching my last individual client a week ago or so, so I'm kind of waiting to see what the next steps is in terms of individual clients. But it's been a wonderful journey. I'm learning a lot, and there's more to learn.
What's interesting twists in the journey, right? I mean, I remember when I first started coaching, I was convinced, I had, how old? I was kind of mid 30s and I was really into, women's equality and getting your next promotion. And I went into coaching training, assuming that I was going to be working with mid-career women and how to get a raise and how to negotiate and all these kinds of things. And then I ended up being the forgiveness coach for several years, which really shocked me when I first got into it. But you never know where the spirit's going to take you and who's going to cross your path and what you're going to learn from different clients and what's going to really get you jazzed up. And I do think we do grow and change. I have a particular soft spot for people who are retiring, on the verge of retiring and just retired. And I went through several years where I just had client after client who were all sort of late 50s, early 60s, some even into their 70s. And that was such a rich and wonderful time for me because I just learned so much and I still have it kind of in my own way of being of um, there is more of that, what is life really about and what do I really want from the years I have left and what would I do with total freedom? financial freedom and
Hmm.
time freedom. So lovely surprises.
Indeed, indeed. I agree. I I have yet to coach anyone who's in that phase, but who knows? That might pop up. But for now, I'm really looking at kind of a younger demographic, uh, where I can support their growth and learning
Hmm.
at this. So we'll see. We'll see what unfolds. It's very exciting, though.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to be coaching mid-career women when you were first going through the course, but I'm not a bit surprised because you're so inclusive and you see people as people. And so I'm really glad that a lot of women are getting to benefit from how you are as a coach too.
Yeah, no, that has been rewarding for sure. Well, I really, I have to say, the training in the course in Spain was really wonderful for me because I was one man among many women. And I think that really heightened my sensitivity to some of the things um, that are important for women. And, some of the barriers um, that men have that they need to deal with. And so I think it really challenged me to be much more thoughtful in listening and not assuming, uh, not making assumptions about women and their preferences or their own interests. So I'm married to someone who also loves to challenge my assumptions. And
Yes, she
so,
does. She's a real thinker and she's challenged me too. Yeah, she's great.
and so, yeah, I think it's always good to have those assumptions challenged, especially um, from a male position. I need to be challenged.
Yeah. Yeah, what wonderful work. And and you really dove in, head first. You were challenging yourself and you came in, if I remember right, really wanting to do the emotional work and it sounds like you've continued that up till now.
Yes, yes, I think so. And I'm I'm married to someone who, you know, she has no problem sharing her emotions, and is very emotionally secure and intelligent. And to me, that's important. Um, she challenges me in many ways, and I really appreciate that. I need that sharpening. I need to have that freedom to go there and to not be ashamed of my emotions and to not be afraid of them. So yeah, it's definitely been uh, an enriching part of my relationship with my wife. I think to be able to talk about emotions and not be afraid of them, and to um, and to work through them and see them for what they are.
You said you were hoping to talk today about what's changed for you since taking the course and becoming a coach. Is there anything that we've missed? Is there part of your life where you're like, I really want to mention this aspect?
Well, I think I've captured most of that in talking about how it's really influenced my relationships, especially with my spouse. Um, it's helped me to be hopefully a better learner um, from my clients. Um, it's definitely given me another tool and more resources for dealing with areas of my own life that I want to improve and move forward with. Um, and I can see it cutting across multiple areas of my life and the work that I'm doing. Um, I didn't mention this, but I've been asked to serve on the board of a nonprofit that deals with trafficking and the public health needs of those who are trafficked. And the person that asked me to be on the board said, Ray, I think just your presence um, and your listening and your questions could really help us because we have a lot of young members on our board. Um, and, as someone who's been a coach before, I think that that would really complement um, and add to our board if you were to join. And so I'm in the process of being interviewed now to join this board. Um, I hadn't thought about that. I know nothing about trafficking. um, um, I do have some connections to foundations for funding, which I think is part of one of the reasons why I might be asked to be a board member. But if I can be a presence in board meetings and deliberations discussing the organization's mission and its direction and strategy, um, hopefully, I can add some value there, and perhaps my coaching presence and those competencies that I use in the context of coaching can be effective there as well.
I love that. Yeah, even the way you're talking just reminds me how coaching is a way of being. We learn the competencies,
Mm.
and it's not that everybody who graduates from a coach training is going to be a professional coach, but we're different
Right.
people and we have this way of being. And so it's not about knowing. It's not about like, oh, I'm the expert on trafficking. It is presence
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to ask questions and the ability to be
Mm-hmm.
curious and see people and invite learning and growth does make
Mm-hmm.
us add value. I'm really they'll be lucky to have you if you guys end up moving that direction.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited, and I like the way you encapsulated that coaching as kind of a way of life. I think that's something I'm thinking a lot about and hoping to continue on for as long as I live.
Mm. Well, it sounds like it's a big part of your joy, your joy coffee cup and your joy and
It is, and no one can take away that joy,
Mm.
uh, and I'm convinced of that, and that's what keeps me encouraged. That's what keeps me going.
Mm.
And Christy, I just thank you for the way in which you have um, really brought this into, I mean, this Awaken vision, the teaching, coaching. It's a unique approach. I'm learning more and more as I'm talking to people who've been coached, who have become coaches, that what you have done is really unique, and I'm just really grateful to have been able to experience that and to be an alumnus, I guess, of your program. And I really want to see your model and your work continue to expand and to touch more people around the world. So I'm really excited about the U.S. course that um, you'll be leading here in September, and I hope that it goes well.
Well, I'm delighted that you're part of the community and thank you for recognizing how unique and deep we go with the coaching. Are you up for one last question?
Sure.
So we like to end this podcast with asking people, in our course we teach 6 levels of listening, and the deepest level is spirituality or mission and purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
um and to me that's the most practical kinds of questions that you can ask. And so one way of getting at that is to ask, what kind of world would you love to co-create? If you could be part of making this world anything that you want, what do you want to create here?
Wow. Well, as I think about this this topic, I think of the worth of each individual. Every individual has worth and value, um, and so building on that, that includes everyone. No one is outside of the boundaries of of having worth and having value. And so I really want to create a world where radical inclusion and acceptance is nurtured, and where everyone has an opportunity to thrive and to be the best that they can be. Unfortunately, that's not the case in many places in our world. Um, our world is filled with a lot of negative things, but I really feel like it's important for people of goodwill and of faith to really embody that inclusiveness, supporting and caring for every individual, recognizing their innate value and worth, and supporting them to be able to thrive and to grow however they wish. That's
Right.
that's the kind of world I want to be a part of, and hopefully I can contribute to that to some extent
Yeah.
where I am in my little place here in Washington D.C.
Absolutely. I'll join you, Ray. That's my vision too. And I wasn't like counting how many times you said worth and innate worth, but that seems like that's a real core of your faith and your belief in humanity too, is that each one of us does have inherent worth and you want that to be
Mm-hmm.
recognized. I love that.